What's good, YouTube? SlenderRevolutionX here, coming to you guys today with my Prank Kids deck profile. Now, for those of you guys that don't know, I did really well with Prank Kids last season, and with the new Yu-Gi-Oh season coming up, I kind of wanted to give you guys my take on the deck. I might be taking it to some events this season, just because the deck has like really good going first power, and it also additionally can go second. Just because the ability to go into Boil Sword really easily in that deck makes a big difference. And it can play through negates, which is really strong due to the chain blocking and stuff like that. I just personally am absolutely in love with the deck and have been for some time now. It's really, really fun to play. It does brick, but like just like anything, it has its ups and downs. So I play the pure variant. I know a lot of people play some invoked engines in there and stuff. I choose not to. I think it kind of tarnishes the consistency of the deck a little bit. The more polymerizations you put in there, being invocation as well, the more chances that you end up having a hand of polymerizations and no monsters. So I chose to max out on some of the Prank Kids cards, max out on the OG polymerization, run the fusion recycling plant, things like that. Just a different way. That I think it's the best variant of the deck, especially since Summon Sorceress was banned and we can't really play the Thunder one as efficiently anymore. But that's basically where I'm at with the deck. Without further ado, guys, let's just dive right in and you can go from there. Alrighty, folks. So we'll start off with the monsters. Pretty standard lineup here for Pure. You're maxing out on 3 of each of the Prank Kids, just so you have optimal ratios in your opening hands and stuff. So 3 Roxies, 3 Lampsies, 3 Fansies, and 3 Dropsies. All do their own kind of things. Each and every one of them is very powerful. Like, just, they all replace themselves, which is pretty incredible. So, there's that. And then the last monsters I had are 2 Effect Veiler. Just for some interaction on your opponent's turn, I think Effect Veiler is like just one of the better hand traps right now, just because everybody's using monster effects, and a well-placed Effect Veiler can really stop your opponent, and it doesn't have the limitation of like impermanence, where sometimes to be able to use it you need to not control anything. So I really like Effect Veiler. Onto the spells. 3 Prank Kids Pandemonium, the fusion. Then we have 3 of the Prank Kids Pranks, which is your token generator and recycles cards at the end phase. I still run 3 of the Prank Kids Place. I honestly am not sold on this being like a super great card. I'd rather have either one of the other 2. This card baits a lot of ashes, I'll say that. There are situations where you need Prank Kids monsters in hand, and this comes obviously value in that. There's a lot of value in being able to search what you need. But just the utility of these, this is just like a great chain blocker. So, like, to allow all of your Prank Kids to resolve, this is like usually the final effect in the chain that you want to use. Especially if, like, your first fusion, you want to be able to activate this with your first fusion to make sure the 2 initial Prank Kids go off. Because the hardest thing to do with this deck is to, like, your biggest roadblock that you run into is if they negate your first move, or, like, stop your first move. That's, like, the biggest issue. Once you get going, there's a lot of utility and a lot of avenues that you can go down. But, so, this card is, like, really crucial as far as being able to chain block. But its first effect, like, a lot of times I'll play this first to bait the Ash for other cards. So, moving along, we have 3 Polymerization. Just need the fusions, guys. Like, this, if you open this in 2 Prank Kids, it's like full combo. Just super, super necessary in the deck. Then we have 3 instant fusions. Just another combo piece, being able to instant fusion out, like your Rocket Ride. And opening this end of Prank Kids is, I think, full combo minus the Dweller or Toad. These cards just add more utility to the deck, allow you to make more plays. I run 2 Call by the Graves. Call by the Grave, you just want your combos to be able to go off. We're not seeing a whole lot of hand traps in the game right now. It's a lot of combo-based stuff. So this went from 3 down to 2, just to allow more power cards to go into the deck. 2 Pot of Desires, you need the draw power, in my opinion. A lot of people are going away from using this, but like, whether it's you don't open well and need to dig for cards, or it's the end of your turn, you've gone full combo, and this can dig you for a hand trap or a trap card to help you get through the game. The one-ofs, I run the one Reasoning, the one Terraforming, the one Fusion Recycling Plan. I think this replaces my Invocation with the deck. Sure, this can be Ash, but it also allows you to recycle cards at the end of the turn, which helps you for your follow-up fusion on your opponent's turn that you generally try to go into. And the last spell that I run is the 1/1-for-1, just to try to put another monster on board. Like, that's... You want to be able to normal summon a Prank Kids and special summon a Prank Kids, worst case scenario. So, if you're not fusing from hand, that's how you have to do it. So that's all it for spells. There's a lot of spells. And then traps, I run one of the Prank Kids plan. Some people advocate for two. I don't really want to see this card in my opening hand. I want to send this card off of Fansies. In my opinion, that's the best utilization of this card. There have been situations where I've used its first effect to allow you to link on your opponent's turn, and it's really strong against back row decks. But the issue is this doesn't do anything for you turn one, which is where you want to go. Whether it's your turn one going first or your turn one going second, this does nothing for you. So that's why I keep this at one. I just think that it's better to limit the cards that could end up being bricks in your hand, and this is one of those in my opinion. Alright, my last two cards. First off is Skill Drain, probably the most powerful card in the deck. All of the Prank Kids activate on field and resolve in grave, therefore they kind of, they kind of loophole the Skill Drain. And it's such a blowout card against decks that need monster effects on the field to resolve. In my opinion, things like pendulums and stuff like that. There's a lot of decks that rely on cards on the field resolving. And if you open this up, even if you don't have a good Prank Kids play, this can actually save you a turn and allow you to get over your opponent's stuff. Because even a lot of people's out to back row is Nightmare Phoenix, and this just says no to Nightmare Phoenix too. So, and then the last one that I run is Summon Limit. Summon Limit's something that I've been advocating for the deck since I've been playing it. Ever since I got my invite with the deck in it, or with this in the deck, it was originally in side decks, and I was testing it out, and then I put it in the main deck. People are like, but you summon so much in the deck. Yeah, you do, but you also have the ability to summon on your opponent's turn. So 9 times out of 10, anything you couldn't do on your original turn, you can do on your opponent's turn. So staying within those 2 summon limits per turn isn't super degrading, or super hindering to the deck. So I really like having this in there personally. It's just personal preference. A lot of people don't like it, but I'm telling you, this flipping, open up one of these 2 in your opening hands, and being able to full combo, or not even full combo, but just end up with Bow Wow and Washer on your opponent's turn. It's just you're gonna win that game. I don't see a lot of decks getting around that. They have to have the Twin Twisters and then be able to put a big board up, and it's just too many avenues to this card is too much to fight over, and this card definitely can have an impact. So that's the main deck, guys. It is 40 cards. Onto the extra deck. We'll go through the Prank Kids Fusions first. I run 2 Rocket Ride. Obviously one of the best cards in the deck. This card is just a Monster Reborn for 2. Your optimal opening hand is 2 Prank Kids plus this. 2 Prank Kids plus Polymerization to be able to go into this into your opening play. Results in full board. And then I run 2 Weather Watcher, which is the card that you use on your opponent's turn for your follow-up play. Generally, I make a board. Generally, my preference for the board is a Bow Wow on this on your opponent's turn. I know a lot of people like to go into the Final Fusion into this guy on your opponent's turn, but the issue is this card can be a blowout card, where this card just builds advantage. So it's depends, are you trying to grind your opponent out or just blow them out? That's kind of where you have to go. So that's it for fusions. The links, I run 3 Dodos. Was contemplating cutting it down to 2. It was at 2 for my regionals decks, and then I ended up getting rid of my Boral Sword after National. So it's that's where the 3rd one came in, because I figured if I don't Boral Sword, I need to replace it with something. I run the 2 Bow Wows. In my opinion, the best link card. sure, Kraken can search your stuff, but like this boosts your monsters, this recurs on your opponent's turn, and stops you from dying by card effects. Super good. The generic ones that I run, the Boral Load and the Phoenix, just to be able to out problem issues, like problem cards like mine and stuff like that. And then Boral Load doing his thing, taking big monsters, things like that. Boral Load at this point is pretty self-explanatory for why you would have it in any deck. And then the last link for it is the Ripborn Roaster, like super dominant against like True Draco. Like you're just wiping boards with this card, like wiping back row, which is really good. And then my Link monsters, I have the one Totally Awesome and the one Abyss Dweller. I think Abyss Dweller right now is just like overall better. So like in any situation where you can put Totem board, you can. I'd say in like 99% of situations where you can put Totem board, you could also put this in board instead. So these are kind of your two options. If I don't know what I'm playing, generally I'll go into Toad first. If I do know what I'm playing, like if I'm playing like, not obviously not anymore, but like Salads, if I was playing Salads, I'd run this. If I was playing Orchestra, I'd run this. Thunder, I'd go into this. Like, there's just so many things that you can go into with that like, Abyss Dweller is just OP right now. So, but that is the deck, guys. If you like what you guys saw, please give this video a thumbs up. If you guys have any comments, concerns, questions, please let me know in the comment section below. I always love hearing from you guys. And as always, folks, remember to subscribe to join the revolution today. This is SlenderRevolutionX signing out, and I'll talk to you guys later.